because it's Friday and we're live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pantelis Podcast. My guest today, Olivia Benaroche. Olivia, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Olivia, I know you for a while, but we're going to get into this in a second because I caught you at a weird time right now where you're a full-time comedian, which is strange for a lot of people. Everybody asks me, how the fuck do you do it? It's crazy. So we're going to get into it with you because I think you're new at this full-time comedy thing. And I'm going to ask you, how did you first get involved in festivals? Because you were at Just for Laughs so many years. What got you in there?
I always knew from a young age I wanted to work in entertainment. Comedy is something that's always interested me. As a kid, I've always, watched movies and quoted them and done, imitations and impressions and things like that. And then, when I graduated from CEGEP, I kind of wanted to get my feet wet and actually start working and not just do like summer camp and be a counselor. So I kind of started looking at opportunities, and then essentially what happened was I interviewed for a job at the Jazz Fest, did not get it, and then through a contact managed to get myself an unpaid internship at Just for Laughs.
The best kind of internships.
Well, the funny thing is, that was back in 2010. I was 19 years old, and I was about to start university after that summer, and then I got this unpaid internship. I was super excited about it. Brand new company, first time working in a real office environment, and then about a week into my internship, one of the key members of our team quit. And this was a week before the festival. So they essentially hired me to be a staff member for the summer, and it was kind of like sink or swim. And I just loved it so much and, did well that summer. It was actually on the Juste pour rire side. I started on the French side doing public affairs, yeah. And then from there, it was just, translated into different contracts throughout the summers. And then once I graduated university, I, started full-time.
And then you didn't look back. You've been there for years.
Yeah, 2010 was my first festival. 2011, I did, PR. 2012, I actually was on exchange that year and couldn't secure a job in time for JFL, so I ended up working at Fantasia that summer, Fantasia Film Festival.
Yeah.
Also fun, but different style.
I bet.
2013, I was the industry coordinator back at Just for Laughs, and then 2014, because of JFL, through those contacts, I actually secured a job in New York City for a year. So I ended up working in New York in comedy for a year. And
what'd you do in New York?
So I was working for a company that managed comedians, and I was assisting, do you know JB Smoove? Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Leon,
yeah.
Exactly. So I was actually his personal assistant for a year, along with some other clients, but I really primarily managed like his day-to-day.
Was that as funny as it seems like it would be?
He is a gentleman and a kind man, and it's more than I can say for a lot of the other, not a lot, some of the other artists I've met over the years.
I will say it's many of the other artists. Yeah.
There are some celebs who have a bit of an inflated ego,
Yes.
dare I say. Sorry about that.
I've met quite a few of them.
Yeah, I'm sure, yeah. So essentially, New York was a riot, and it was crazy to be in the comedy scene in New York City as a 23-year-old and just going to shows 5 nights a week and meeting everybody and seeing the real kind of roots of New York comedy scene at that age. And then my visa was up after a year, and then Robbie Pra, who's now at Netflix.
Kicking ass.
He's kicking ass, but he was, VP of programming at the time. He came and kind of poached me back and was like, come back to the team. So then I started at JFL full-time 2015, and today marks my last ever day at Just for Laughs.
Which is crazy.
Crazy, yeah.
But you obviously left on good terms. It's something that gave you a lot.
I did,
and
yeah.
What happened? You just caught the bug along the way? You're like, I got to get into this comedy thing, even though it's completely fucking insane?
It's fucking insane, as you say. I would say I caught the bug as a kid, though. Like, I've always known I wanted to be on stage. And I've done so many things on the side while I've been working at JFL over the years. I do voiceover work. I've done, plays and musicals and things like that. I've done stand-up over the years. There's a lot of different side projects I've had my hand in. And so I always kind of knew I wanted to do it. And I think it just took so long to find the courage to actually do it. But the catalyst, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, and this might come off as like a little hacky, but it's true, I discovered mindfulness 2 years ago. Like really getting into the notion of mindfulness and being self-aware and getting in tune with myself. And I know it sounds like real, bullshit, but the truth is I started reading and really kind of starting to understand myself, and it took me a long time to build up the courage to say to myself, okay, you're not doing exactly what you want to be doing. You're doing kind of what you want to be doing, which is you're in comedy and you're touching everything about comedy but not comedy itself. And so I had done open mics over the years and little things here and there, but earlier this year I really started getting into it more. And so I've done a couple shows, and I think I have like a tight 10 right now, but it's obviously a work in progress. And there's a lot. I mean, stand-up isn't the primary goal. It's really sketch comedy is what I love.
Okay.
But I really love all of it.
Because did nobody told you that you could work in the day and then do comedy at night?
They did, and certainly I saw it for myself, but
that's what I was doing for years.
Well, I think there's a distinction between working a job that's minimally demanding.
Right.
There's so many comics that I know personally that, wait tables or are working a desk job, are, a receptionist or whatever it is. And that's real work, don't get me wrong, it's respectable. But when you don't have to necessarily check your emails after 6 p.m., you don't have to worry about contracts, artists, high-stake deals going through, especially the months leading up to the festival, during the festival. During the festival, we're working 18, 20-hour days. It's incredibly difficult to balance when you're working in a high-pressure environment that has so much, that is so demanding. And so I commend anybody who's balancing two jobs, regardless of the nature of it, doing comedy by night and, doing work by day. But Just for Laughs is not the type of environment that lends itself necessarily to constantly being able to run around as much as you'd like or do the things you want on the side as much. It's just a time-consuming
Which
job.
makes sense. There's so much
so
many moving parts.
Because it's not just the Montreal Festival, right? I was working on Vancouver,
Australia,
and Toronto, yeah.
Fuck.
So and don't get me wrong, like I have loved being a part of the JFL team. It's been an incredible journey and experience, but I can't fully devote myself to my creative projects as long as I'm working there. It's just not humanly possible. It's just exhausting. And like I tried to balance it this year. I started doing stand-up this year, and I'd come home and write. And by the time I'm done my day, it's 8:00 and I'm home. I'm tired and I've been exerting my mind all day. And you just want to relax and watch Netflix or whatever. So I think I'm just looking forward to being able to actually take the time I need and see if it works. And even if it doesn't, that's okay. But at least I'm doing it.
Yeah, you don't want to think about it later, like you missed out on at least trying.
Exactly.
I feel the same way all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get scared, and then like, you know what? At least I'm trying. I can't say that I didn't try later.
But
so
that's
even if
just
it
it.
fails, at least I know, hey, I gave it a good go.
You don't want to live in regret.
Yeah.
And look, I don't have a house or a mortgage. I don't have kids. It's like
This is the time to do it.
if I don't do it now, now's the time.
What did they say when you told them that at Just for Laughs?
So, because of my reasoning, which truly and genuinely and sincerely is that I'd like to be a comedian, they were actually very supportive.
Okay.
Obviously, there's like a bittersweet sentiment that comes with it. Oh, you're a big part of the team, and we're gonna miss you. And you and I have worked together in like a lot of different capacities over the years.
It's hard to replace experience. Also, it must be tough on them thinking about it.
It's tough. It's tough for sure. But this is business.
Yeah.
It's business, and there's no hard feelings on that front. I think if anything, they all want to see me succeed, and I'm also coming at it from a position of somebody who's now worked on the industry side for so long. I have an idea of where it is I want to go, what it is I want to do, what I'm going to exploit and capitalize on.
Yeah.
So there's also a part of my team at JFL that's like, not only do we wish you success, hopefully we can book you one day type thing, and I appreciate that support for sure. But it's it's going to be a tough transition, but they're going to be just fine. I have all the confidence in them.
Yeah, they have a big team. It's just I can understand from a perspective of I've worked at office for years. I remember when you'd lose a key member, it's hard to replace.
For sure.
But this is a little weird because you're kind of you're going out from the management side, and you're like, you know what, I want to be an artist. I want to do the hard stuff, which this is a lot harder. I'm telling you right now,
It's
a lot
grueling.
harder, but personally, way more rewarding.
100%. If it's what you want to be doing.
Who's forced
sure.
into stand-up?
Nobody. But the truth is, I think it's such a conflict of interest to work as a booker at Just for Laughs and then be a comedian at the same time. And so this whole year that I've been doing stand-up and performing, I've been very reluctant to promote myself on my social media just because I'm like, I am here as an ambassador for this company that's booking other talent, and yet I'm trying to promote my own image as talent. So it's been
You never promote your own image as talent.
Exactly. So it's been this weird gray area all year, and so that's also part of my excitement is to start off 2020 and be able to brand myself as what it is I'm trying to accomplish. And so that's also to answer your question, like as much as I could potentially balance it, go out at night and do stand-up and work by day, there is also this fundamental conflict of interest that has prohibited me from doing so. And so I'm excited to do it. Yeah.
Did you ever have a moment in the summer where you saw certain acts and you're like, you know what? That's horrible. I could do better. I got to do this.
I'm trying to determine
You don't have to name them.
the degree of diplomacy that I need to exercise.
You don't have to name anybody, but I go through that. Everybody goes through. So I'm pretty sure that sometimes you might have been like, yeah, I gotta start doing comedy. What the fuck is this?
I would say it goes both ways. In the sense, on one hand, I've seen quite a few comedians over the years that I've looked at and said, okay, I can do that, or at the very least, I can do that, or I'm funnier, or whatever. But by the same token, I've seen a lot of comedians that have just inspired me tremendously. I've seen magical moments, Midnight Surprise, even Mike's show this summer. Andrew Schultz's show this summer.
Oh goddamn!
That Mike did, and you were there in the audience.
Fucking killer.
Those are magical moments that are not replaceable, that are not easy to replicate. Like, those are things that happen once in a lifetime, that you're there or you're not. And so I've witnessed these things where I'm like, fuck, I need to do this. This is what I want to do. So it's been inspiring in the sense that I've seen people I've admired and people that I feel like I can match.
Good.
You know what I mean? But I've seen so much comedy. I've consumed so much, and for the most part, it's been inspiring.
Yeah, because you used to, I guess because you had to manage too, but you were at so many shows. You came to my show over the summer, like you had a lot of stuff, and I saw
which I loved, by the way.
You had a good time. I'm happy to hear that. Well, you were always one of my biggest supporters. You would say good things about me behind the scenes. Good. Mike would tell me. So it was always motivating to have someone on the inside being like, yeah, he's good.
I wouldn't have said it if I didn't mean it.
But that's why,
because I've seen so many comedians.
But get sometimes I would see, like, I remember when you came to my, but then you were somewhere else because I saw you later that night. I think at midnight. So there was always those weeks you're everywhere and nowhere at the same time, obviously, because your head's fucking scattered. Scenes, But yeah, it must get grueling after a while. You see so much comedy, and then you might not like it. I know Theo at the Comedy Nest, he stopped doing stand up, and he can't even he's like, I see so much comedy. It's hard to get me to laugh.
I mean, yeah, I think that's personal. There's also a distinction between seeing comedy in one club in Montreal versus working with comedians from an international platform. I'm not just talking about Americans. I'm talking about Australians, Latin Americans, like comedians from all around the world that I've been exposed to. And
any Austrians? I feel like there's no funny Austrians.
Austrians? I don't think I can name you a single Austrian comedian, but Australians.
Yeah, that's what I can't even think of a single Austrian person apart from Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, no, it's not coming to mind right now. But, Just for Laughs is also a platform that curates some of the best talent around. It's not just stand-up. We're talking comedy in all facets. So what I've been exposed to is significantly more privileged than the average person has been exposed to. You know what I mean?
But what about sketches drawing? Because you said that what you're interested is in sketch, right? Did you see something and you're like, oh, fuck, I want to be part of that? Like, what happened?
Mm-hmm. Well, Saturday Night Live and Mad TV have been kind of pivotal, shows for me. I've always enjoyed them tremendously and always been like, I can do voices, I can do accents, I can do impersonations. This is where that would come in handy. And so I think stand-up's a great platform and it's a great outlet, and certainly it'll serve me as an outlet for things I want to get off my chest. Yeah. But when I think about what I truly, really want to do and what I think I'll excel at the most, it's comedic acting in the context of sketch comedy. Just for Laughs has the early date portion of our off JFL programming dedicated to local comedians, and a lot of that programming is made up of sketch and kind of themed shows, storytelling shows and sketch shows and improv shows, and it's a treat. It's a treat. I think I'm almost more impressed by improv performers just by the sheer ability to think on the spot and actually be funny.
Yeah, when they're funny, it's the greatest thing. When they're not funny, it's the most awkward thing.
For sure, but the same can be said for stand-up, I think.
Oh yeah, obviously.
But it's I don't know. There's an element of I'm so utterly impressed when I see improvisers, and at a high level too. When you're seeing Thomas Middleditch and Ben Schwartz and all these amazing people,
you're thinking like, whose line is it anyway? Type of stuff.
That too. Yeah. I mean, that's an iconic show too, and everything. I don't know. It's such an exciting world, the world of comedy, and I think I'm just tired of not fully being in it.
But you were, I guess, you were just in a different
capacity. But I want to be in that community because then I love the comics that I know, and I love the people, and comedians are not like agents and managers. You know, it's a different population, it's a different demographic, and I relate to that, and I like it, and everyone's been very welcoming since I kind of started doing spots around the city, and people will see me at an open mic or at a show. Oh, you should come to my show. Come to my show. And it's a supportive community, and I think on the Canadian landscape. Specifically, that we have a duty to support each other.
I don't know about other cities, but I know here, especially on the English scene, because we're not that many. Mm-hmm. That's why we're like that. Because it's a very small community, so kind of everybody knows each other.
Precisely.
And that's why we don't have that many mics. We can't really support that many and get people to come out, because it's the same people you're going to see all the time.
Exactly.
Or a handful.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're going to get a lot of support. I already told you it's not going to be an issue. People are going to want to support you.
Well, even you reached out, like even having me on today, I really
yeah,
appreciate
but we're gonna get you some gigs too in the new year and stuff.
Thank you.
You're gonna. I'm doing some stuff around Quebec, not just
Oh, that's great.
Montreal. My buddy Emile, who you worked with,
Emile Corey, yeah, good dude.
Good dude. He's booking my Quebec tour. Yeah.
You're kidding, because I know he had a show. It was like it was some Lebanese title.
Yeah, Haboubs and the
Haboubs and Lalouz or something.
Yeah,
like
that.
So
he became really good at it. Like he got good names. The shows were going well, so he learned how to book. So then I talked to him, and I do, because Mike does a lot of hiring, like internally. He likes to promote people instead of just hiring someone from the outside. Mm-hmm. So I started to think I should do the same thing.
Yeah, that's great.
So I saw him, and I saw he was putting in a lot of effort, and he was a good guy. I was like, you know what? Let me talk to him, because I'm trying to get organized. I'm trying to book all these dates. So I go through him, and at first he was panicking. He's like, I don't know how to do this. I'm going to fuck it up. But he's fucking great at it. So he's going around all over Canada fucking booking
No, he's a smart guy.
spots. Yeah.
I mean, I worked with him when he did PR for us, but I always got along with him.
He's a
Very
good dude.
friendly. Yeah, good dude. I'm happy to hear that, though. That's great.
Yeah, I'm working with him. So I'm going to definitely hook you up with something.
Thank
we
you.
go like around Montreal
You're
somewhere,
very
you
sweet.
come, put you on. Yeah, because you need the practice. The biggest thing now is reps. Just getting comfortable.
100%.
Yeah.
I would say at the beginning of the year, I would still get very nervous to do an open mic, and I need to have a shot of whiskey before I get on stage. I'm so nervous, and what if I fuck it up?
That's not going to leave for a while.
Well, the truth is, I'm still, I still get to a point where I'm like, okay, I have that adrenaline rush before I get on stage, but I'm certainly a lot more comfortable now than I was, 10 months ago. I don't freak out now when I get on stage, but I'm still not 100% in my element. So, like you said, it takes time. You need to find your voice.
Yeah.
But the one advantage I do have, starting out in comedy and having these years of JFL as my background, is having watched and consumed so much of it. And so even if I myself don't have the hands-on experience and practice, I have like so heavily internalized what makes a good stand-up set
From some of the greats.
And I've spent close time with some remarkable people. I've had the privilege of getting to know some amazing comedians over the years, and so I think just learning by watching also is a big part of of my my privilege and my experience.
Plus that before going on stage thing, that I think unless you start not liking it, I don't think that ever really leaves. It's just different levels. Like you're never gonna be like, oh, what the fuck am I doing? But you always have that little
pinch.
Yeah, because you want to do well. That's what I've learned now. That's because I used to be confused. When I'm on stage, I'm speaking. I have no issues. Mm-hmm. So why do I feel like this? I know I'm going to be fine when I get there, but it's all because you don't want to let people down. They're there to see you.
Exactly.
You don't want to fuck them over. So that's what it is. But that's a good sign, because if you were more... I've seen comedians that just gave up.
I've seen, so much of that. They get up and they just fuck around on the mic for 5 minutes. It's wasting our time.
But they're like that before. They're like that even before. They're like that before the fucking... before they're on stage. When you see them backstage, that's how they are. So you kind of feel the energy. They're like, nah, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And then they project it on stage.
Yeah.
I don't know. I even saw that at the Comedy Store. I'm not gonna name names from some greats, and I was there with Mike, and we were both like, "What the fuck's he doing?"
Yeah.
Like people paid money, and they're just stroking it.
Yeah.
So it happens. Sometimes people just don't give a fuck.
No, I mean, there's a fine line between having a style that says, okay, I don't care about anything, and this is my style, versus, no, I genuinely don't have a prepared set, and I'm just wasting your time. You know what I mean?
Which is not the nicest fucking thing to do to people.
No, it's not.
So what do you like now when you go on stage? Since you're thinking a sketch, do you fuck around a bit? Do you talk to people to try to do some crowd work so you could work on your improv skills? Or are you like, look, I wrote some stuff. Let me see if I can at least perform what I wrote first. And then what is your mindset? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I keep the stand-up and the sketch really separate.
Okay.
And because I'm so green at this, a big part of my focus this year has been focusing on my material.
So you're not fucking with the crowd?
I'm doing a little bit of crowd work when I know I have a bit that lends itself to it, but trying to figure out when it's not necessary and when it's just wasted time. Like there's a lot of times where you'll interact with a crowd and it's like, hey, that wasn't funny, nor did that serve a purpose in the set, so now you're just wasting time. So figuring out how to use the audience to actually garner laughter and to my advantage versus just having it for the sake of having it. So crowd interaction is something I've played with a little bit in my set, but the priority this year has really just been getting material together and like rewatching my footage, being like, okay, this one landed, this one didn't. How can we reframe this so that it's funnier? Where's the punchline? Take this line out, like really cleaning up the material. I think I've got on stage this year maybe a total of like I don't know, 15, 20 times since January, let's say.
Oh, you got a big year ahead of you.
Oh, yeah, no, and it's not
now that you're free.
enough.
No, but it makes sense because you also weren't free.
Yeah.
Now that you're free, goddamn.
Oh, well, no, now that I'm free, it's like I need to be gigging
Yeah.
multiple times a week at minimum. At 2-drink minimum.
Yeah. A minimum, you got to be... No, for
No,
real.
it's like every night, but, if you can get stage time, which is tough in the city.
It's tough in this fucking city. And a lot of the... You know, the thing is, a lot of the mics, you're going to have more fun with the people there than you will the crowd. Because sometimes you'll go somewhere and there'll be 5 people and 3 of them are friends of one of the comics.
Exactly.
But at least you're getting the reps in, but you're having fun just fucking around with the guys.
No, but it's just getting on stage anywhere that they'll... But, like, when I was living in New York, some of our clients would... they're gigging 3 times a night. Because they have the stage time and they're just hopping on these shows. It's okay, I got a set at 9 and then another one at midnight and then tomorrow I'm doing a 7 and a 9 and a 12 or whatever. And you're like, okay, I mean, even if I hustled if I poured 100% of my time into just getting stand-up gigs, I don't know if I'd be able to secure more than 5 in a week, in Montreal.
It makes me that's the only thing that made me jealous about the New York scene. Obviously, some of the comics are there. That makes me jealous too to work with them. There's a lot of, but that made me so jealous that they couldn't. Like, you know what? I'll do three spots now. Like, fuck, man, if I could get 3 a week.
So I think Toronto is a little bit better at that. Obviously, it's a bigger city, so proportionally speaking, there's a little bit more leeway there. But, Toronto has a pretty booming comedy scene, and it's Anglophone, all of it, right? So compared to Montreal, because I think if you were performing in French...
I started doing French. I started translating my bits.
You're smart because there's such a market for it here. But
huge market, plus I have an advantage.
Yeah.
Because the mic, they already know me. I 100%. Have that. So like I did a spot 2 nights ago at the Bordel.
Nice.
And they knew who I was when I got up. So you already have that. You already have that little tie-in. You win. Because if you're brand new, you have to spend a minute getting them to know who you are, getting them to trust you. Plus, I have an accent, so it's already difficult. But the fact that they already know who you are, it makes it easy. So I figured, Mike was telling me, he's like, there's so much...
You're smart to capitalize on that.
Yeah, just do both. You speak both languages, fucking do both.
C'est bien ça, tu sais.
Right, because it's my jokes. I'm just translating them. No. It's not like I have to work on anything new for the French. There's some stuff that I'll add in French that I think it's funny, but in general, I could just translate my jokes. I work on them in English, I think in English.
Yeah.
And then you speak fucking French. You could do French too if you want to.
I could, mais genre, tu sais, I have to first get my English bit down, and then I can, you know what I mean?
But then you could translate that shit. There's an opportunity.
I'm not closed to any, like, I'm open to all of it. I think I'm just excited to get my life started in this new chapter,
I'm excited for you. It feels it's just to see someone who, you're going to go, but you've kind of already gone through it, but just you're stepping into this world. And it's fucking, I'm telling you, it's very gutsy.
It's a grind, man.
It's a grind because there's fucking barely any money to make.
Oh, no. I was telling a manager today I was on the phone with, and he's a Canadian manager, and I told him, it's my last day. He goes, no, don't do it. Stay where you are.
Yeah, you're going to starve.
I told him, I was like, listen, buddy, it's a long time coming. I've been considering it. He's like, well, I hope you get compensated properly, It's like, I know it's a grind. I believe I've seen it. You know what I mean? But
I think it took me 6... How long did it... It took me till, I guess, like last year to be able to just do comedy and comedy-related stuff, make money from podcasting, writing, and stand-up.
Yeah.
It took that long.
Yeah.
And no other job could you intern at for that long and not be called an insane fucking person.
100%.
Right? So it's very difficult.
Yeah.
But I feel like you're in good hands at least. You know what the fuck you're doing.
I have an idea of what I'm doing. I also think there's a lot of opportunity for women right now. There's, as you know, like a lack of, generally across the board, I mean, there's a lack of women in comedy. It's a male-dominated industry. Yeah. And I think as a woman, there's a little bit of an advantage to distinguish yourself and your voice.
It's because they're busy cooking. They're busy cooking. They're busy cooking delicious meals. That's what happened. In this city, I think you have an advantage, too. There's not that many.
It's a lot left. But that's it. They're hard to come by. And, it's just such a male-dominated industry that, especially as a woman in Canada, there are actually quite a few opportunities. There's a lot of networks that are really looking to meet their quotas and diversify their programming. No offense, but there's they're trying to steer away from like the straight white male.
I know. I lived it for years. So it was preventing me from doing all kinds of shit.
So it's even harder for straight white male, quote unquote, to distinguish themselves in comedy, and I get that, but it's also been dominated by that demographic for so long.
Take advantage of what the fuck you can. And the other advantage I think you have is, I know that obviously they're trying to look to add more women, but also you are. You're a funny person. You know what I mean?
Well, thanks.
So it helps because there are a lot of comics who fit a quota, but they're not funny. And then all that does is it garners resentment within the community. But I don't give a fuck that this person's X, Y, Z or whatever
they fill a box. Or
they're not funny though. How about if they're funny, they could be a giraffe. I don't care.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. And actually, from where I've been sitting in the booking seat for so long, obviously I've seen a little bit of that over the years. But
it's gonna happen.
You know, you can't win them all.
I wonder the thought process of someone who's like, they have 2 candidates.
Yeah.
Like, there's too many of this.
Yeah.
But even though he or she is funny, too many of this. Grab the unfunny fucking giraffe.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a bit of a tough kind of conversation, I think. Even if somebody's less funny than another, there is a very real need and importance for representation, no matter which way you slice it.
I don't know. I think some of it's exaggerated. You remember what they were saying about the poster it was this summer, I think. The Just for Laughs, the main poster that had a lot of the big names. They were saying, how come there's not enough, I think, LGBTQ representation, or why isn't it 50% this? I don't know if you remember.
I don't remember hearing that chatter. Like, it's also maybe didn't necessarily get back to me. Maybe it's something that, artists were talking about amongst themselves.
Well, most artists thought it was ridiculous because the percentage that they were talking about, it was in an article. But the percentage they wanted didn't make sense because, like, it should be 50% this, but then it's like the global population, or North America, the population of whatever you want doesn't account to 50%. So if you wanted, you would have to actually remove gay comedians from the poster to make it actually represent the demographics of North America. So it's just dumb. It was just nonsense to say we need more of X, Y, Z.
Look, people are very quick to judge, and that's okay. The public is allowed to formulate their own opinions and have their own perceptions. I can say very confidently with, like, complete honesty that diversity is a very big topic at JFL. It's something that we are considerate of. I don't think people necessarily understand and realize how difficult it is to secure talent from all, demographics. And
it sounds almost impossible.
You don't think we've sent, offers to, like, everyone that we want, and how many of them say no, scheduling conflicts.
And then you got to fucking balance it out.
It's so difficult. So especially when you're dealing with a lack of representation, as it is, there's less women, as it is, there's less LGBTQ, community members.
Yeah, the pool is even smaller.
So the pool is smaller. And then you're not going to secure everyone you send an offer to. So naturally, we're going to be left with, we're going to scrap as much as we can together. But, like, certainly there's been a very concerted effort to be inclusive and be diverse. And actually this year, for the first time, maybe, I don't know if it's ever, or if we just brought it back, probably ever though, but we did our first, like, real LGBTQ showcase. And we had three all gay comic lineups in Off JFL, which I booked all of them. And I was so happy. Wanda Sykes did an appearance on one of them. Like,
I like Wanda Sykes.
It was amazing. And I was really happy to have that inclusion in the programming because it's about time and it was overdue, but I'm glad we did it. And so, look, people are always going to judge no matter what the circumstance. But,
you could make it all gay. Straight people are gonna, bitch. You can make whatever you want. There's always gonna be bitching.
But
that's what I learned.
But until you're a booker and you understand what goes into it, you'll never fully understand the difficulties that come with it.
Here in the city, it's difficult if you don't want to repeat yourself to book a good show with different people because you might book the best one night in the set. Just that is difficult.
Yeah.
Imagine having to fill extra quotas. Well, you should add 2 women or 1 gay guy. You need a Greek guy. You can't not have an Italian. It would drive me fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It would drive me fucking crazy. So I don't know how, as a company,
it's a challenge.
Not just you guys.
It's a challenge to curate a festival lineup.
For everyone.
It's no easy feat. You can't just look at a menu and pick who you want.
Yeah, exactly.
It's relationships. It's nuancing. People have to be happy and want to come to the festival. It's tough. It's tough.
Do people still bitch at you guys, like, internally, let's say within the comedy world? Like, why am I not there?
No, if anything, I mean, there's always going to be bitching for sure. I'm not going to say no across the board. Obviously, there's people that, can be unhappy at some circumstances. But no, for the most part, I continue to witness a lot of enthusiasm and eagerness to come to the festival. And if people don't get an invitation one year, I think, they know, okay, great, I'm on their radar. We'll still maybe consider you for another one of our festivals around Canada. And also, it's just a matter of, like, maybe you're not ready, and keep us in the loop and let us know how you're developing. And we do try and keep a record of who we've booked and who we want to go after, and fostering talent is important. And the new faces is a big thing too. We want them to come back. And so people don't necessarily bitch. I think it's more like, you're not going to bitch if you don't get an Emmy or whatever. It's like, I'm lucky to have this invitation.
I've been bitching about my lack of Emmys for years.
Exactly. But I think for the most part, people are grateful when they get an invitation. But obviously we can't book everyone.
Well,
you gotta be selective too.
Can't fit everyone. What about? I have a question. Maybe you know about this. So it's growing. The festival's growing. It's in different cities now across Canada. Yeah. I thought that maybe the headquarters was going to move and start going to Toronto. Like, that's what it seemed like to me. It seemed like the logical step. People in the city might get mad at me for saying that, but the logical step seemed like going to the bigger city. Not that I want it to happen, but it confused me that it still hasn't happened. And I kind of feel like if the French scene wasn't as, like, Juste pour Rire would separate, there would be no reason for Just for Laughs to stay. And they would just fuck off and go to Toronto. Not that I want it to happen again. I love it here. Saying. It's just, I'm thinking about it from a business standpoint. I was like, why don't you just go there?
Yeah, from a business perspective, your logic is not flawed in terms of Toronto being a business capital in our country and being the center place for a lot of that.
People have a lot more expendable income too.
You're not wrong on that front, but Montreal's been the flagship for 38 years now.
So you feel like it would just feel weird? It would get rid of the aura?
Just for Laughs is synonymous with Montreal.
Yeah.
Our Toronto Festival is only, 6-7 years old now. Vancouver's only about 5 years old.
I don't take either of them seriously yet.
Well, the other thing is Toronto has a much different image and branding than the Montreal Festival. We don't aim to book the exact same festival. It is a more fan-geared festival. Montreal's a more industry-geared festival with a lot more programming and diversity. Not diversity, but I just mean programming. There's so much more to choose from.
Programming diversity is huge.
It's massive. I mean,
everything you want from podcast,
exactly.
Anything, yeah.
So Montreal really is the headquarters, and for that reason, I don't think it'll ever really move, nor would I want it to. Montreal in the summertime is positively the best city ever. And having JFL in the city during the summer is just the most wonderful thing. It attracts so much tourism, and it's something that a lot of us look forward to. And I'm, like, as a Montrealer, proud to have it here. Yeah. It's an international brand, and it's right in our hometown, and I'm, like, fucking proud.
So you don't think we're gonna lose it, is what I'm saying?
I don't think so.
Okay. That's
plus, don't forget we got sold to, like, Evenco and Bell this year, so.
But Bell is Canadian, so if they wanted to, they could have.
I mean, they could do anything they want, the owners, but the truth is, I don't know what the benefit would be necessarily to moving it. We have our footing in Toronto. We have our footing in Vancouver. Montreal's the headquarters.
So that makes me happy then, because it's one of the things. Like I said, I don't want it to happen.
Yeah.
But in the back of my mind, I think about it. A lot of stuff moved to Toronto.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Fuck, that would be really shit if we'd lose."
I mean, I haven't heard any
chatter
conversation about it. Yeah, like, this is kind of new to me. The thought of even that happening.
I hate that I'm the guy who puts it in the
fucking. No, it's fine. I can't
in the universe, and then it happens. I get blamed for it.
I can't speak for them.
But also, I don't like people would fight. Like, Bruce Hills is a proud Montrealer. Mm-hmm. He's not. Bruce is not going to be like, all right, the first chance we get to move, let's move. So
I feel like if they wanted to move to Toronto, they would have by now. But it seems like an arbitrary kind of
move to make.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, again, like, I really cannot speak for the company, and I'm not privy to.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I have inside information. I was just looking at it. And I was like, fuck, now that it's a possibility. Also with the French scene, with what had happened when they were trying to separate themselves from, what's his name? Fucking Lauzon.
Lauzon, yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't even know this guy. I didn't even know he existed. And they're talking about, Just for Laughs and sexual harassment. Like, I don't think a lot of people on the English scene, like, especially comics, even know him. I don't know why Just for Laughs is in the same mix. Because I honestly, as into comedy I am and into Just for Laughs, never even heard of this fucking guy because I was on the French scene. So it really didn't touch us in the sense that he didn't harass any English people or anything like that at all. It didn't have anything to do with the higher ups at Just for Laughs. As far as I know, no one at Just for Laughs on the English scene was part of that, So it was weird for me when that had happened and they were implicating Just for Laughs. I was like, it's kind of two different fucking companies. I've never heard of this guy.
I can appreciate.
You could have heard of him because you were in.
Well,
both.
No, I appreciate your perspective, and it's an honest one, and that's an honest perception of events. I don't want to comment too much on this, but I will say that Just for Laughs and Juste pour Rire are one company. Even if we operate different festivals and different events within the same umbrella, we are still one. And I am very close with my colleagues on the Juste pour Rire side. I do know artists on the Juste pour Rire side. Some of them, are in touch with the Just for Laughs team as far as the festival goes and whatnot. So regardless of who Lauzon allegedly did or did not affect, essentially we are one family of Juste for Laughs, and that's why everyone was affected in that capacity. We're all working under the same umbrella under his leadership previously. So yeah, listen.
Questionable leadership, let me tell you. Again, you knew it because that's what I'm saying. You knew it because you were in there. That's why you knew them. But from the outside, I bet you, if you ask a lot of American comics that came for Just for Laughs, they'd be like, I'd never heard of this guy. And it would be normal because you wouldn't deal with them. Whereas like the guys that you deal with on our side, like fucking Bruce Hills, these are good fun people. So that's why I remember when it happened, I go, this is a weird, like maybe they should discuss it in the paper, kind of separate a bit to know that these guys didn't, they're not the same. You know, that, okay, it might be the same company, but sometimes night shift and day shift, let's say, don't meet, for example, in a company. So if in the day shift, somebody went in there, whipped his dick out, and I come in working the night shift, why am I getting blamed? I don't even know the day shift people.
I mean, I don't know. The question of blame is, listen, I'm not sure.
It was a weird time, is what I'm saying. It was a very odd series of events.
It was an odd series of events. It was unfortunate. It was a drastic thing that happened in the history of the company. We've rebounded since, and I'm very proud of our new leadership, and I think that the company's in very good hands now with the new administration. I don't necessarily want to comment on the Rozon situation. It's beyond me.
Yeah, I think you shouldn't. Yeah.
It's not a helpful topic for me personally. Not to dismiss you in any capacity. It's really not my place to be commenting necessarily.
I wasn't looking for official.
No, that's okay. Yeah,
JFL
official
statement. No, I was just asking you, just so you could. I was more telling you how I felt on my end.
I don't mean to be dismissive. I'm just.
Well, no, there's
it's
also limits to what you know, and what you can't comment on something that you don't know the inner workings of. That would be lying, and then that would be weird.
What it did was it propelled a movement of awareness about sexual assault in the workplace. It's a very good thing.
Especially in a festival of this size.
Precisely. So I think, more drastic efforts have been made to secure the well-being of the artists and the staff and, promoting awareness about that amidst the Me Too movement, which has obviously pervaded across the world now. Listen, it is what it is. I have nothing but good things to say about my colleagues and the people I've personally worked with.
So I'm saying, same.
Including my, my cohorts on the Juste pour Rire side of things. As for Rozon, I can't speak for that.
I can't speak for him personally because I've never met him.
Right.
Like I said, I didn't know he existed until all this stuff happened. But in terms of safety, the whole time that I've been around the festival, I've never felt unsafe in any capacity. No joke. Like in any, even though, you're outside and there's so many people, not that they're, expert, like we have military there, nothing like that, but I never felt unsafe. I always feel like it's that carnival, you're a kid type of feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're at the fair. Yeah. I never feel unsafe. So they probably do a good job about that.
No,
even though it's annoying to keep checking my fucking bag every time.
Yeah, it's the city also. The city wants to make sure when you have that kind of influx of foot traffic that there's, measures being taken. But I think when we're talking about safety, we're talking about more on a mental health level.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But I mean, in general, across the board, I've never felt unsafe.
Well, I'm happy to hear that, Pantelis.
I never felt unsafe. Considering the shit I say, I never felt unsafe.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
No, but listen, it's a hell of a company.
It is, and it's crazy how it's grown.
Yeah.
If you think about it, like from just a local, in Australia, I think is not even like the last thing they're looking at. They're probably looking to expand because Europe is a goddamn
I don't
possibility.
actually work on the Sydney Festival. I really only focus on Montreal, Toronto, and Vancouver. But I am aware that we have satellite events and festivals elsewhere. Australia is a big one, and it's been growing, and it's a wonderful festival, and we got really good feedback this year, which was awesome.
That's what I heard.
And we shoot TV there too, and it airs out in Australia, so that's wonderful. But I've also seen Juste pour Rire has a presence internationally. We've done stuff in Belgium, in
Switzerland.
I think I remember seeing one in Algeria, if I'm not mistaken.
People make mistakes.
Agadir,
People make mistakes.
Yeah. Well,
no, but yeah, both. That's why it's amazing that it started from here, and they're fucking. It's crazy. Not a lot of us go out and do shit like that here.
Well, not to mention the gags, which is really the most recognizable thing about JFL is the pranks.
Am I crazy, or is that the biggest fucking money making scam ever? Because I see it every time on a goddamn airplane. They still have the gags on the air. It's everywhere. I was in Greece, and it's on TV in Greece.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's ubiquitous. And the wonderful thing about it, and the reason why I think it's so ubiquitous, is because it transcends cultural and language barriers. It's nonverbal, and it's basic human, humor.
Yeah, just awkward situations.
It doesn't matter where you're from or what language you speak because there's no words. You can watch that, and no matter where you're from, you will find it funny. So that's why it has kind of been exported everywhere.
It's like a mute Curb Enthusiasm. Very awkward.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit cringy. There's cringy pranks for sure, but I think it does its part in spreading joy too. There's people who are less fortunate in the world who might see a glimpse of that on YouTube and be like, this brought a little bit of laughter into my day. Not to reduce the world suffering to being healed by a clip.
Here you go, Libyans.
Yeah.
Watch this.
I just mean JFL does play a part in bringing laughter to the world, and that's also a big part of the reason I've wanted to be part of that company for so long and the comedy scene in general is because we as comedians contribute a lot to humanity.
Yeah.
In sharing our points of views, in spreading laughter, in entertainment is such a fundamental part of like humanity, right? Companies in the world spend an enormous amount of money on entertainment. People spend a lot of money on entertainment for the sheer purpose that it is an outlet. It's a therapy.
Yeah, you're gonna see you build a connection with your fans. Like I have people who. Yeah. They saw me from one podcast or another one, and they started becoming fan, and they started watching all my stuff that I have an actual connection with. Like we'll That's talk, great. We'll send, and it's just from all over the world. You see different people, and you know you're like-minded. Then they'll tell you something like, "Oh, thank you for posting this. You helped me get through this because of this joke or something like that." Yeah. And you're like, "Holy fuck." I'm making more of a difference than I ever would have thought possible.
Thought, exactly.
It would never think like this joke about, fucking X thing would affect someone so positively. It would, rewire their brain into seeing something.
Seeing a new perspective.
A new perspective where they're not as sad about it because of that. Yeah. And I'm like, fuck, I never, you never, in yourself, you never see that, because you go through the motions. Yeah. So you never look at the big picture.
When you're focusing so much on your career, on your set, understand, it's like, you don't necessarily, but even me, like, as an industry person working in the industry, like I'll still see comics and I won't be shy to express to them how much I admire them. And it's not like an effort to brown nose and rub elbows. It's really like a genuine, you're really fucking funny and you need to know it. And I'm telling you, I just want you to know, I think you are supremely funny. And oftentimes it's the low level comics that I'm telling. And when I say low level, I just mean green.
Yeah, because not the big, but I've heard you compliment people and it always feels genuine.
It is genuine because the truth is I don't have patience for shit comedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which fuck, after watching all that shit, you can't.
But when I see people, I remember like Ronnie Chang did the ethnic show a few years ago. I think it was 2016. And it was the first I had really seen him. Not that it was like he was necessarily new. He had been doing stuff in Australia and in the States for a while, but it was the first that I was exposed to him. And this was before he got Daily Show. So this was kind of a nice big debut for him at the festival to be doing ethnic show. It's the long run. And I remember watching him on stage and like even the first or second night I saw him and I just went, this guy is, I don't know what it is, but he just has something. This guy's so fucking funny and smart. And I remember telling him after, and I was like, Ronnie, like, you are thebomb.com. Like, you are insanely funny. Like, I just want to let you know. And he was super appreciative. And then next thing you know, he gets Daily Show, and now he's doing other things, and his special just came out. And it's like, it's nice to see the people that you want to support actually do the things that they should be doing. But I just mean from an industry perspective, yeah. I've appreciated being able to express my admiration for them directly because a lot of people don't have the opportunity necessarily to meet their idols or whatever. So it's nice to be able to express that in person.
Also, you can't if you're not in the industry sometimes or you're not involved at all. It might be weird for you to express that. Like if you're at a sure. I just want to tell you that like get the fuck out of here.
Without it coming across as like I'm trying to like suck up or whatever. Yeah. And I think that's it's not cool necessarily to try and like name drop and
it depends on the person.
That's what I'm saying.
Some people are unapproachable.
Yeah, well,
and then some people are too approachable. Yeah. I find that I'm too approachable.
Do you?
I find that I'm too. People have been telling me stop fucking talking to people, because anybody who comes up to me, they're like, hey, I watched this. Can I get a photo of this? And I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do this. But then people are like, why do you keep doing that? What if someone's fucking crazy? But I can't help it because you're talking to me. You clearly know me.
But part of that, Pantelis, could also be a big reason why it's contributed to your success. It's, being a man of the people and being able to like, yeah, I'm a regular person and I appreciate your support and you should know that it's appreciated. And
I am a regular person.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like, if you're approachable, it's also could potentially be a big part of the reason why your fans are so loyal and so dedicated. They relate to you.
I like them.
And you don't have a snobbiness to you.
No, I like them.
And that'll come when you're very, very famous. But for the time being, you can humbly, embrace it.
I don't know if it'll, because I don't have, you have aspirations, you have goals. Like, now you're starting the comedy career, you have goals. I don't have the goal. I've said this, man. Like, I don't care about being famous. I just want to be able to make comedy, do stand up, write, all that stuff, and make money at it. I don't mean minimally. For sure, I'd like to make good money doing it, but I don't want to. I never want the goal to be the fame.
No, because I've used this as an example. Artificial goal. Yeah,
you could be. If I want right now, I won't do it, but I'll go on fucking St. Lawrence Street, whip my dick out, cameras will come out, I'll be famous.
Yeah.
but it
for the
won't
wrong
for the
reason.
wrong reason. So you could get, but I'd rather be the guy that, I'm happy because like, fuck, I got to write, I got to do stand up. I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I don't have to work a job that I hate.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
No, and that should be the goal.
Yeah.
Because once you're doing that for the right reasons, the money will follow.
Yeah, everything else comes.
It'll follow.
It's like little
That's
puzzle
it.
pieces.
But the most important thing I think is following your gut, and I think that's what I've discovered is I need to do what my soul is telling me to do, which is get on stage.
Wait, what's the plan? Okay, so you're gonna go on stage. That's not an issue. We're gonna get fucking stage time. You're in the city. Everybody likes you.
Thanks.
But do you have a goal? Like, look, I want to start my own, I don't know, podcast. I need a YouTube channel to put on sketches. I'm gonna practice stuff. I'm gonna get my friends together, film shit. I have a fucking studio right here where we film one of my YouTube shows.
Very good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like, is that what you're thinking? Like, or you're just going with the flow?
No, No, obviously my background, having worked on it in the industry for so long, has given me the tools to understand what, I need to lay things out. And
Good.
I'm not just going about it willy-nilly because I don't think that's a smart approach.
It's a terrible approach.
To leave my very secure, great job to go do this, you have to be fucking crazy. So, obviously I have goals and milestones that I'd like to achieve, but I do think a lot of it requires being flexible and going with the flow while still being cautious and having a plan. I've had my hand in a lot of different projects for a very long time, so a big part of my agenda for the next year is to take those to the next level. So I actually started a podcast with my best friend Monica, who is also a JFL employee who is also leaving
to do comedy?
Correct.
Today also?
Today also.
God damn it.
Yeah. So we are, her focus is less stand-up and more writing and producing, but she and I write on and collaborate on a lot of things too. And anyway, we started a podcast last year, and it is such a rough, we put out 3 episodes, and we don't have experience and background in audio editing, and it's the audio quality is garbage. But
let me ask you a fucking question. You know me. You know how long I've been doing this.
Yeah.
Why don't you fucking send me a message to anybody? I always tell them in the city whenever they want to start a podcast, just reach out. I'll fucking help you guys out.
Well, maybe I'll take you up on that.
Yeah, I've been doing it for so long. I know all the tricks. You don't have to.
Well, no, but that's just it. So now that I'm gonna have the time to do this, I'm going to want to collaborate with people like you. I'm going to want to bring it to the next level. So the next episode we record, I want it to be top notch.
Goddamn right.
And I believe in the content, and even the first 2 episodes, they're rough around the edges, but they're fundamentally the angle and the tone and the voice we want to be communicating. So I was excited about them regardless, and it was just nice to have it out there. Just a shameless plug. It's called Wow, another podcast. Wow.
It's called Wow, another podcast.
Wow, another podcast.
Funny.
Loosely inspired by my friend Mark, who says wow a lot in his immigrant Italian accent. Wow, okay, wow. So we started.
Okay, wow, bro.
Wow, okay, wow, fucking wow, guy, man. So fucking guy, wow, okay. So
are you sure he's Italian?
He's fucking,
sounds autistic.
No, he's fucking Italian, man. Okay, wow. So we kind of took that and ran with it, and the podcast is essentially about all the different things that make us go wow.
Oh, okay. So there's a fucking theme to it.
Yeah.
It's not just you guys shooting shit.
It is us shooting this shit, but with a structure of how does this tie into wow. So the term wow is one that we are coining now, thanks to Marc Chartrand. But essentially, we'd like to be able to talk about whatever we want and using wow as the platform to do that. So it's you can say wow in 5 different ways. And if you say wow versus wow, it means 2 different things. And here's how it relates to this episode. So the first episode we did was on the Fire Festival when that documentary came out.
Oh, that was terrible.
And that was okay, wow, fucking Fire Festival, man, okay. And then the second episode we did was on concert etiquette, how to behave at concerts, because people just don't get it. So we went through the different motions.
Yeah, sit the fuck down. If you're on the floor, you could stand up.
That's
but if you're in
it.
your goddamn seats,
Sit the fuck down.
Sit the fuck down,
Yeah.
right? You got seats, asshole.
Don't film the concert on your iPad.
Just enjoy it.
Don't do
on
that.
your iPad.
Yeah, don't
That's
take
the
an
best.
iPad and film. Don't do that.
That's the
we don't
best.
need to see it.
Yeah.
Don't bring homemade food in a Tupperware and eat it at a concert.
I've
Don't
never
do that.
seen this.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen a guy eating fucking tabbouleh at Metropolis. Okay?
Look, I'm
It's not
telling you one
normal.
thing. As stupid as it sounds, at the same time, sounds like a great fucking idea. If you got a good meal, you bring it in there.
Sure, but it's problematic for the rest of your.
The guy's I'm on a diet. He's there with his fucking boiled chicken breast, some broccoli.
Yeah, legit. So
Yeah, I don't like people fucking stand up when they got seats.
Yeah, it's bullshit,
Because then
man.
I'm sitting there like, asshole.
Yeah.
If
Get
I was
on the
15,
floor.
I would have went on the floor. The reason I got paid for fucking seats is to sit and enjoy the goddamn show.
So you get it.
Yeah, and also
Wow.
the filming. It never look. You might film a second or something like this is happening. I'm here. You share it. You ever try to film a fucking concert and then watch it later? It's unwatchable.
Precisely. And who the fuck is watching it?
Yeah, why would you?
furthermore,
You're
yeah.
never gonna look at this. It's a waste of space, or you're gonna delete it later. You're just ruining your concert going experience.
Just YouTube your favorite artist and you'll
It's
find
way
a better
better.
video. Exactly.
Way better. Yeah, and also this is a goddamn song. You've heard it a million times.
Exactly. it's not going to be better because you archived it on your smartphone.
So I like where you're going with this.
Thank you. So my podcast is definitely something I'd like to elevate, and Monica's on board, and we're gonna try and put it out weekly and do it properly. So that's kind of one of the agenda items. I also do voiceover work, which I've been doing for a long time.
How's that?
So I love voiceover, and I have done a couple of contracts here and there, but I do work on a pretty occasional basis with TV5, doing described video.
In French?
In English. Yeah. So described video is, it's exciting for me in the sense that I'm in the studio and I'm doing voiceover work and I'm getting paid to do it.
But described it, is that
it's
like...
a little monotonous.
Peter lifts up the cup. Is it like that?
It's literally that.
It's like ASMR stuff?
I mean, I'm not like ASMR, like in the mic.
Oh, you have to whisper in ASMR.
No. Yeah, I think ASMR is just like soothing sounds.
Oh yeah, I keep thinking something else.
Yeah, it's like stimulating sounds.
I keep thinking it's just describing something like extremely.
Well, described video, I mean, it's not ASMR, but described video is essentially what you just said. It's describing what's going on in the action in between the dialogue. So
there's you got to rush.
Yeah, well, I have a time code that I have to respect, and I have to read the lines in a certain, manner in a certain time frame.
Peter lifts a cup.
Well, sometimes they'll say very fast. I'm like, Peter lifts a cup, or it'll be.
You do have a voice for it.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. So say, Peter has me on the podcast today. He looks down at his computer. It's the.
Oh yeah, you do have a voice for it. Yeah,
thank you.
I never thought of that. That's fucking hilarious.
So it's like I get a little bit of a creative outlet, but really my dream is to do voiceover for animation. Like I'd love
fucking
to voice,
cartoons and
I'd
shit.
love to voice cartoons and characters. So I'd like to take that to the next level. And then I have 1,000,001 ideas for sketches that I want to produce, and I'm gonna put them on Instagram or put them online. And
you're gonna put them on fucking YouTube.
On
is
YouTube,
what you're gonna do.
yeah.
And then you're gonna make videos also for Instagram TV.
Exactly.
But YouTube's gonna be your main thing because you can share it with everyone.
Exactly.
You're gonna get together with your fucking friends.
Yeah.
You're gonna make these videos. You're gonna start your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You're gonna start sharing, and you're gonna let it grow. And you're gonna have you could do what Saturday Night Live does. Well, to a certain capacity. But on YouTube, you have your own fucking. Nobody's stopping. That's something I keep telling people. As long as you have an idea, you could get it out there now. We have all technology up until our overlords at Google decide we could all go fuck ourselves.
Exactly.
But until that time comes, you can share all this stuff.
Precisely. And we're living, I think this is the best possible time to be doing this. It would have been so much harder to try and do this 10 years ago even.
As a lady?
Yeah. Well, as a lady especially.
Would have been very difficult.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Who taught you how to read? And it would have been trouble. It would have been trouble.
I mean, yeah, hopefully we're moving towards a more, a brighter future.
Yeah, we're fine here.
For gender equality.
No, in North America, you could pretty much do whatever the fuck you want. Like, as long as you avoid the backwoods, you don't go to some hick place, you can do whatever the fuck you want. No one's going to stop you. But I'm telling you, because we have the studio here too, fucking that's what it is now. If you have the talent, you fucking make these goddamn sketches online.
Well, thank you.
Do you remember when, what's his name, the Lonely Island guys? Remember when they first started in 2007 and stuff, all that shit went viral? Then one of them went on SNL. Forgot what his name was. Andy Samberg, funny dude.
Yeah.
Remember?
I'm on a boat, motherfucker. Yeah. Don't you ever forget.
I'm on a boat, bitch.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I got my sunscreen and my flippy floppy.
Laser cats, all that stuff. But again, a lot of people copycat and tried it. And now I guess it died down because there was so much of it going on online.
Well, now Lil Dicky and everyone, and even Macklemore to some extent has done kind of comedic videos.
Let us not taint this podcast.
You're right. Sorry.
With talks of Macklemore.
I'll go fuck myself.
But I like Lil Dicky.
No, he's funny.
He's hilarious. But he's more of a rapper. I consider him a real rapper.
No, Lonely Island's obviously comedy driven.
Yeah.
Jizz in My Pants was probably my favorite one. Or Dick in a Box. Dick in a Box.
Dick in a Box
was
and they had a trilogy. I think it was Dick in a Box. And they had another one. They brought Lady Gaga in on one of them.
Justin Timberlake, I think. Yeah. No,
that's just fucking hilarious.
They're great.
That's what I'm saying. You could do that.
Yeah.
Nobody can stop you.
Yeah. No, I have a ton of ideas, and it's just years and years of notes in my phone waiting to be, brought to life. So I'm excited, and then there's a slew of a bunch of other things I do also.
Do things differently. You have any blackface content? Because no one's doing that shit now. He's pioneer.
Yeah, that's not exactly where my head's at. But
how funny is that? The first video is you in blackface. You just get a message from all your friends that just found, you're bad at business. You're bad.
Oh my god.
No one's doing this.
No.
This is a key demographic.
No, you gotta be sensitive also. I mean, that's a real faux pas, let's be honest.
The blackface?
Yeah.
It depends who you are, because Jimmy Kimmel got away with it.
When?
Jimmy Fallon. He was Karl Malone. He dressed up as Karl Malone, did all blackface.
It must have been years and years ago.
Not that many years ago. It's on the internet. Jimmy Fallon did blackface too. I think he was pretending.
Are you serious?
He was making fun of what was it, Eddie Murphy or something. Yeah, they've done it. Yeah, they've done. But I guess it's because, well, they're also on late night TV, so you can't really fuck with these guys. They do whatever they want. But also, context I guess in intent matter. Like, I don't know. Right now, I wouldn't do blackface because of the social climate that we're in. There's no way you can tell someone that you're doing it without fucking with someone. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I would ask Aber Preach, and they'd probably tell me, no, bro, it's insensitive, so you can't do it. But they did it, and they still have their jobs. So
yeah, I mean, if I'm going to publicize my opinion, I don't think there's any room for blackface ever. That's where I stand on that.
Well, unless you're black.
Well,
and that's the face you got.
Sure.
That's the hand you were dealt.
I don't think.
You think
racially charged humor is not my style. So.
Well, racially charged, you mean race?
Racist.
Racist.
I
yeah,
mean
like
racist.
something great. Yeah.
Yeah.
We could talk about race, but we shouldn't be racist. What you're saying?
Yeah, and I don't want to say. Yeah, I mean, obviously, don't be racist. But
I like that to say that. Like, obviously, in case someone's taking notes how to do comedy, and now they're putting an X on it. Like, really? No, okay.
It doesn't mean you can't make jokes about race.
No, you can make
jokes. It
jokes.
doesn't mean you can't, be. It doesn't mean you can't be unpopular in a joke that you're trying to tell as long as it's crafty and has purpose.
There you go.
So I think that there's a big, especially in light of Mike Ward, for example, censorship is such a big topic of conversation.
Yeah, but there is also a difference. I get what you're saying because there's a difference of you being censored because your joke is offensive as opposed to you going out there and just saying racist
gratuitous
shit.
hate speech.
Exactly.
So there's a difference between gratuitous hate speech and racism and telling a joke that will be offensive but has purpose and is done with grace or elegance or tact or intelligence even.
Non-gratuitous hate speech with a limit, with a little lime on it.
Limit. I think that comedy,
what is hate speech though? Because I always have trouble
inciting
violence or
and
okay,
wrongful action
that I agree with
against a targeted group.
Because I read a story about a doctor in the UK now who's trying to say that she I guess was saying nerd and geek should be considered hate speech. And I was like, you know what? Can somebody give this fucking nerd a wedgie? Because
there also needs to be limits to like censorship, and I don't know. Comedy should be a platform for people to say what they want, but people still need to understand the impact of their words.
You know. I imagine every time a demographic that's gone through some shit hears something like that, they just fucking lose it. Yeah. Like, wait, what? Yeah. That's hate speech? Are you fucking crazy? Yeah. Let me tell you what hate speech is. Yeah. It's like, no, nerd. It hurts my feelings.
I don't know. Nerd and geek, it seems like a pretty umbrella term to me.
Yeah.
It's like, really?
And also, you can call me a nerd. I don't give a shit. I'm a nerd.
There's no, like...
I'm kind of nerdy.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's maybe a little bit exaggerated, but then again, it depends on the circumstance, the context.
It's the goddamn sensitivity of the people. Yeah. I don't think you're gonna deal with it because you don't really offend people. You know what I mean? Like you do your thing. You're happy. You're not an offensive person. So, but you never know. Sometimes David Pride has offended people.
Yeah, see, I find that surprising.
Which is the most shocking fucking...
I mean, I've seen him 100 times. He's so funny. Like,
he's probably one of the smartest comics we have.
He's so funny.
Good, and he's a good dude, and his stuff is wholesome, let's say. There's nothing crazy about it. So when someone can get offended by him saying something, you know that we're reaching a weird level here where everyone's like, I need an excuse to be offended.
Well, it's like hypersensitive.
I gotta be a victim.
If you're offended at David Pride, I don't know how you're leaving your house.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean.
And he's so good.
He's so funny. He's a gentleman. He's such a gentleman.
If he wanted to, he could tackle crazy offensive shit and make it less offensive. That's how good he is. Mm-hmm. And you have to be good at that. Mm-hmm. You have to be, because I know people. You're gonna see on the open mic scene. There's people who they go on stage and you're like.
Oh no, I've been seeing this year, Ethan. I'm like I know what you're trying to do. It's just not landing.
Yeah, you're like, that's not a joke, bro. That's just
bro.
That's just racism.
Wow.
You can't open with the N-bomb, bro. Like, there's no joke here.
Well, that's a whole other level. But.
I'm an edgy comedian. Oh, but this is gonna be so much. This is so exciting watching this through your eyes, getting in there, and you're gonna get upset a lot, but you're gonna have fun.
Thank you. I appreciate your support and encouragement.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I'm gonna help you guys get your podcast to a level that you want to get it at.
Thank you.
Are you everywhere on the podcast, like iTunes, all that shit?
We're on iTunes and Spotify.
You got to get on Google, too. You got to get everywhere because some people don't have goddamn iTunes.
Well, that's why we need your help.
Yeah, I have an Android phone myself, right? So I go on Google Podcasts.
Should I switch to Android?
No. Do whatever you're comfortable with, I tell people. Also, Laughable. That's an app with all the comics on there. Yeah. You know, so like you go on Laughable, you could click me, and then you see all my appearances and whatever podcast I'm doing. So it's easier to track your favorite. I'm going to help you with all this shit. You got to get... Because you're the best. You're a brand now.
Yeah. No,
you have to treat yourself as a business.
Yeah. No, that's what it is. I'm gonna, roll up my sleeves and get my hands dirty in the new year. But at least for the foreseeable future, I'm gonna chill the fuck out during Christmas and just relax and take my time to enjoy the last little bit of relaxation before I have to hit the ground running.
It's gonna be fucking
It's
crazy.
a grind, man.
Plus, you're starting at like the worst possible time in terms of weather.
Yeah.
The
People
most
aren't
depressing.
coming out. Yeah.
And you're gonna be fucking sad too because the weather. But it doesn't matter. You're gonna power through. These are gonna be memories.
Yeah.
You're gonna look back at this 2 years from now and you're gonna be like, God damn, that was crazy, but I lived it.
Yeah, man.
Either that or, God damn, what the fuck did I do?
Goddamn.
But I think it's the first one. Bless you.
Thank you very much. Sorry.
Where are they going to follow you now since you don't have your site up and ready?
Yeah.
Where are they going to follow you on Twitter? I think on Twitter it's OG Benaroche. I'm going to link it in the description.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Right.
I'm not an avid Twitter poster though. Maybe I will be.
At least,
in the
at the
new year.
very least, promote your stuff globally.
Yeah.
So if someone follows you on Twitter but they don't have Facebook,
Yeah.
they'll see that you have a gig here. That's why I like to try to give a bit everywhere,
Yeah.
except for Snapchat. I have it for no reason.
Fuck
I've never
Snapchat.
used it.
Fuck Snapchat. No.
I use it like once a year. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
That it was made for dick pics,
Yeah.
for 15-year-olds to send dick pics. So I don't know why we got on it as a platform.
No, I never really got super on board with Snapchat. I do story quite a bit, but yeah, no,
Instagram's the shit right now.
Instagram's great for that, and I think what I'm gonna do is actually start posting some of my old stories because they archive on my account, but like because I don't promote my comedy, or now I will start, but like haven't up until this point. Like I have all this stuff in the vault that needs to come back out.
Is it funny?
Yeah, it's good stuff. So it's like it's stupid shit. Like I'll dick around and put it on my story. My friends will laugh or whatever. But it's
That's
like
what it is.
I'll go on vacation and I'll like pretend to be like David Attenborough and be like,
You're just fucking around. Yeah, that's what.
we're
that's
here
what
in the Vatican Square. And the Pope is walking around, and like I'll comment on the statues, and look at the wild ass, roaming, and whatever, just stupid shit.
Get on TikTok.
Yes, that's what I'm hearing. TikTok is the new thing.
It is complete garbage. However, the biggest app out there right now is TikTok.
Yeah.
And it's super addictive.
Really?
Yeah, like I downloaded to fuck around, and then like Sunday I'll spend an hour, and I'll be like, what the fuck did I do? I just scroll through videos, and mostly because it curates. It's not like the other apps where it curates what you follow. If you want, there's a follow tab, but in general, it curates what you watch longer and what you like.
Interesting.
So what ended up happening on mine now is I'll scroll through, and it's all dogs with like people doing voiceovers of dogs.
Yeah.
And I realized last night, I was like, how many fucking dog videos are there? And then it's like, oh yeah, because it's the AI is curating to me. It sees that these are the ones that I stay on the longest.
Yeah.
So it just gives me dog shit.
I love dogs too. Pantelis.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I really do.
All right,
okay,
so
TikTok. So TikTok fame. That's the aspiration.
TikTok fame is your next goal. It's not real fame, but it'll help.
But it's
no,
TikTok fame.
but it's like Vine. Remember Vine? They became stars.
Yep. Yeah. 100%. We've subsequently booked some of the people that got big as a result of Vine.
I met one last year. She was man.
Man and Matthews.
Manon was her name. Yeah, I told her hello because I had seen some of her stuff because she's super funny.
So funny.
Yeah, and I don't like Vine people normally.
No.
But I had seen when I saw her face, I was like, I was trying to, when you try to place the person, I was like, where the fuck do I know this? Yeah, and then I was like, oh shit, I remember her from Vine. This girl's funny.
She's very funny.
I told her that. I said, you're very funny.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
good.
I walked away.
She is very funny.
I should have introduced myself. So she's like, what the fuck? Because she doesn't know if I'm a comic. I just said, you're very funny.
Yeah.
I walked away.
I had a personal affinity for her. So
she's nice, yeah.
Monica and I put her on New Faces Creators because we were like, people need to see her.
Yeah, she was very creative with all the shit she was doing on Vine. She was one of the few people that I liked.
Yeah.
Logan Paul, never liked that kid.
Yeah, well, that speaks for itself.
Never liked him. The Suicide Forest kid.
Oh, yeah.
However, now he's winning me over
Oh, yeah?
a bit. Cause
Are you a gamer?
No. But, well, I play games, but I'm not. I don't know if he's doing gaming, but it's because he's been dealing with Tim Dillon a lot, and Tim Dillon I think is fucking hilarious.
So I do love Tim Dillon, actually. He's so funny.
Yeah. He's a good dude.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I spent a little bit of time with him in the last Toronto festival.
So you got to fucking meet him and hang out with him. You're one step ahead of me.
No, but what? But okay. Well, I mean, I can introduce you if you want.
Perhaps I like Tim Dillon a lot. Yeah, he's a fucking because he has balls.
He's just a great comic.
He does what he thinks is funny. He's not like, I'm scared to say what. He's like, fuck that shit. He thinks it's funny, and it normally is.
Yeah.
And so he fucking does it. I like people that they're still courageous enough to be like, you know what, this is what I do. My goal is to be funny. I can't, because if you start second guessing yourself, you can say a lot sometimes with material. The second you second guess yourself, it affects your performance on stage. It affects your material.
Yeah.
Do it, and then let the crowd decide.
Yeah.
Sometimes
and you'll learn quickly.
You'll learn quickly if maybe you're going too far over the line, or sometimes it's just a subject that you could make funny, but you're not doing it the correct way. And you learn from the crowd, like, you should have put this later. It would have had less of a fucking, impact, like a less of a punch. You know, so you learn that. And him, he's super. He didn't give a fuck about offending people. Didn't give a fuck about getting deplatforming. He's like, no, I'm just gonna do what I gotta do to be funny, and it worked in his favor.
Yeah.
Everybody was sharing his videos. Still do. His podcast. I subscribed. I know Emil. Emil's a huge fan. He told me he can't. It's his weekly thing. He has to listen to Tim Dillon's podcast.
He's funny, Tim.
Yeah, he's funny.
Yeah.
And he's a good speaker.
Yeah, I mean, I won't say anything on Logan Paul because whatever.
Well, anyways, I'm saying he's winning me over because they're hanging out a bit too, so I'm getting to know him in a different light a bit.
Yeah.
More of a forgiving, like, he's a kid doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, in the back of my mind, like, he's still the Suicide Forest kid. I don't like him.
Yeah, exactly. But Tim, though, on the other hand.
Cool ass dude.
Good dude.
Also, Schultz, since you mentioned it before.
Yeah, well, I think Schultz is very, very talented.
Goddamn right.
He's very, very talented. He's in the same vein of what you just described, of like saying what he wants to say without necessarily worrying about public opinion. It's, I'm going to take a risk and I'm going to say what the fuck I want to say, and it's going to be offensive, but people are on board with it.
I didn't compliment any other comic at the festival, even though I liked them. None of them except for him.
Yeah.
Because none of them, because like, you're all good, but you're not me. But him, I went up to him and I told him, let me tell you something. You're the fucking truth.
He crushed it.
Yeah, and he was like, Jesus Christ. Because he was the only one. I didn't want to compliment anyone else because there was good comments. Like, okay, whatever. They're doing their thing. But I had to let him know, like, God damn, dude. You're just knocking out of the fucking park. Yeah. First of all, I got to see him that night where you're talking about. On the Nasty Show. I was there earlier to watch him go on, to do his set. And he's one of the rarities. He's one of those guys right now that found his voice. He locked in. And he's fully loaded on himself. And he's everywhere. He knows how to use platforms properly. Social media, it's a good tool that we have.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't use it.
Yeah.
He was a super nice guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Fucking, there's nothing wrong I could say about the guy on his stand-up or on how he is as a person.
Yeah.
So, and he supports Mike like fucking crazy.
Well, that's it. Actually, when I was booking that show with Andrew, like, a lot of the shows I book are kind of just, multi-comic and, maybe less focused. But Andrew was, like, very, very invested in having a good lineup for his unsafe sets. And as you know, the theme and the purpose of the show is to say what the fuck you want. And we're going through all the comedians, and I'm pitching names and, Rich Voss and the Lucas Brothers and this and that. And then
I like them too, man. The Lucas
Brothers
are fucking cool
funny,
dudes, man.
They're great. And then I remember I was like, wait a minute. Andrew might not know Mike Ward, but like Mike Ward is fucking perfect for this show. And I was like, yo, have you heard of Mike Ward? He's like, no, what's his deal? And I'm like, yo, you got to get this guy. And then I told him the whole story of like how Mike was chastised for his comments and all the shit he was going through. Yeah. And then he was like, fucking get him on the show. And then not only, was Andrew happy that he was on the show, but he was like, that performance.
That was a good fucking performance.
But that was one of the magical moments I'm referring to that I've lived through at JFL, with that show, with Mike on it, with Rich Voss on it, with the Lucas Brothers, with, it was just, and Andrew like at the helm, obviously, but.
And Mike was, I like, because Rich Voss was being a dick a bit.
Yeah.
Mike's like, why are you pretending, like, I have a real Rolex. He goes, you're fucking fake Rolex. And Rich Voss's fucking face.
Rich is so funny, though. Like, he gets all, he's hilarious.
He's good.
Yeah.
And I think his wife was around, too. I saw her on stage as well, yeah. So it was a good fucking... Goddamn, now that you're talking about it, it was a good fucking festival.
Thank you. It was a great festival.
I got to hang out with Barry Katz. I did a podcast with him.
Oh, you did Industry Standard?
No, he came on my podcast. I had to go to his fucking hotel room at 3 o'clock in the morning with the whole setup to do it. But fucking Barry Katz.
Well, that's pretty cool.
That's the kind of people you're with now.
Yeah, you get to hobnob with big shots.
Now you're on the same podcast as Barry Katz.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And other guy that I liked years ago, Paul Provenza, was on here, too.
Yeah, Paul used to do the show called The Green Room.
I remember.
Yeah.
How the fuck come I haven't seen Paul for 2 years at the festival?
Yeah, I mean,
Who's responsible for this?
I'm not going to name names, but no, Paul's obviously a friend of the festival. And
he's probably busy or something.
Yeah, I don't know the reason, but, it's like, every year it's a different crop of artists. We just have to, keep it moving. Not that, we love Paul. He's a friend of the festival. But
he's a fucking... He's a good dude, and he puts on a good show.
Yeah, no, he's just very talented and
I
smart.
heard Mo Amer do his shit the first time on Paul's show that year, a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he did the whole doesn't have a passport thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was introduced because of Provenza, because he brought me backstage, like, come watch the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck this. I didn't know. There was a lot of people that he had there that I had never met.
Yeah.
I had never seen.
Yeah.
Aislinn B, too. And I was like,
B,
and I was like, who the fuck are they? And they're fucking funny. I was like, I'm glad that he introduced me. But all those stuff that he used to do, great. It was a lot of good times for comics to talk. Bill Burr was on his show, all that. It was fucking amazing.
Alonzo Bowden also had a lot of good things to say.
Yeah, we had him on Two Drink Minimum. He was he's a good dude, yeah.
I love Alonzo. I don't know. I have a lot of affinity for a lot of the artists that I've met over the years, even if I don't know them personally.
Me too. You respect them and you just grow into that you grow respect and you grow into that. Now, especially you're in the community in a different way. You're going to see it. You're going to actually get to be probably on shows soon with people that you used to watch and used to like.
Yeah. Well, I've been doing shows this year with a lot of those people that I'm
How does it feel?
For the first time, I don't feel like an outsider in the green room. You know what I mean? Like, I've been in 100 green rooms where I am the corporate one and they're the creative ones. And do you have everything you need? Thanks so much for doing the festival. Really happy you're here. But, give them their space. They need their pre-show time to prepare. And there's this kind of deference that I had to maintain. And now I'm in a green room and I'm like, wait a minute, like I'm on the lineup. Like,
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, it's great. And I feel very supported by a lot of the comics I've been performing with. And a lot of them are reaching out and going, hey, like, hey, you have an extra slot for me? Of course, no problem, come on down. And, they'll see me on a show, oh, I do a weekly night here, like you should come on this one. And so a lot of people have been really generous with the opportunities so far. I'm really grateful.
We're a good community. We're weirdos, but we're a good fucking community.
Yeah. Well, yourself included. Like
the weirdo part, yes. Definitely.
Well, no, I just mean in terms of being supportive.
Okay, so I want people to follow you also on Instagram because that's your big thing. What is your fucking Instagram? It's going to be in the description, but people listening, because people are going to get this. A lot of people Monday morning they listen to the show. So what's your Instagram?
So my handle is Mighty O Swag.
Okay, you're going to have to go to the goddamn description and click on the link because you're going to get confused because a lot of you people can't spell. But Mighty O Swag.
Yeah, there's a reason for it, but I don't know if you want
Is it a funny reason?
I mean, no, it's just a logical reason. But O Swag is my stage name for hip hop karaoke, which is a whole.
You do hip hop karaoke?
How
come you didn't tell me this so I could laugh?
Because you talk too much, Pantelis.
I do.
No, I'm teasing. Yeah. I'm teasing. I actually run hip hop karaoke.
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck is hip hop karaoke? Is it just karaoke, but you can only do hip hop songs?
That with the caveat that you cannot rely on visual aid for lyrics. You have to memorize the song and then you spit the verses over an instrumental without looking at the lyrics. It's high stakes karaoke and it's for professionals.
Is it like Russian roulette style, like high stakes? We got a gun, there's a bullet?
No, it's actually a very warm, friendly environment that does not promote competition per se, but it's an outlet and it's fucking amazing and it's something I'm really happy and proud to be a part of. And I've been running it for about 8 years now.
Is there a winner?
No.
Okay, that's why there's no competition.
No.
It's just you go there and you do
fun.
your thing.
It's hip hop lovers that want to come and emulate their favorite rap stars for the night.
Really? How come you didn't tell me? I would send Poseidon to you. He'd go crazy.
You know what? But we're definitely going to do one. Monica's actually the one I was telling you about before. She's also my co-producer on Hip Hop Karaoke. We're going to do one again in the new year. We're planning now.
You got to plug this shit.
But we did one at Just for Laughs on the Law de Quebec stage last year, and it was super fun. And we've done it over the years, like in
I would
various
watch
locations.
it. How come nobody fucking told me about
it? It's on YouTube. You can check it out.
I'm going to check it out for sure.
HHKMTL.
HHK
Hip Hop Karaoke Montreal. Yeah.
God damn it! Okay,
but they have hip hop karaoke all over the world, though.
Hip hop karaoke.
It started in New York. Yeah.
Everything starts there, apparently.
Everyone starts in New York. Yeah. No, it's a good one. It's a good time. But yeah, I'll definitely let you know what the next one is.
All right. So please follow Olivia on all her social platforms. This year's gonna be big for Olivia. I have a feeling you're gonna get to really fucking grow, and I think you're gonna look back at even this interview and you're gonna be like, God damn, I can't believe I thought that, or oh, I was so nervous about this. That's what always happens. It's fun. It's a good time.
Well, I'm glad we're archiving it.
Oh yeah, this is it. You're gonna have the audio, you're gonna have the video, you'll be able to look back and be like, why was I fucking talking to this idiot, or this was a good talk? Who knows? I don't know how you can see this.
You know I don't think you're an idiot.
No,
right?
of course. Again, Olivia, in case you guys weren't aware, one of the people that fucking had my back for years, was saying good things about me before I got into the festival. Mike was really happy that first year that I got in that you went and told him that how happy you were that I was in there.
To hear that.
Because he was happy too.
Yeah.
He's like, oh fuck, it's good to get to get the perspective from the inside that someone was fucking like they realize. Because Mike should take credit for kind of discovering me. Because he gave me the opportunity.
No, and maybe, certainly he's been helpful to you in that regard.
Huge, yeah.
But I also think if you weren't plain funny and talented, he wouldn't have necessarily supported. Like, he knows. He
wouldn't have supported me at all.
He sees your talent, and he's helped elevate you for sure. But you also have raw talent. And that's what makes you great.
You're a fucking gangster.
No, it's true, man. And I really thank you. I can't thank you enough for having me on and for your support. Thank you.
Thank you for fucking coming. So, Olivia Benaroche, don't forget to fucking follow her or you're going to make me upset. And thank you all for checking out the podcast.